What say you on this fabulous Tuesday, the last day or the first day? No, the first day of February. Welcome to Fight Club, everybody. Hi, everyone.
Woo! I didn't know the date either, Michelle, so you're good.
Good. Woo! Thought it was the 31st.
Well, it's a new month. It's happy month. Welcome back to Fight Club, everyone. Super excited to have you here with us. We're the show for home service business owners looking to improve their marketing, finances, systems, and culture. And we're a team of self-employed industry experts. And we get to be joined this week by Jonathan Maynard. And we are so excited to pick your brain today, Jonathan. Can you just give everyone a brief little rundown on yourself and your business or businesses, plural?
Sure thing. This is always a part I hate because it's one of those like, what exactly would I do and whatnot. But I own a couple of different home service companies. One is a soft washing company, and then the other is a low voltage lighting and Christmas light company. Get to do that. I've got investments in several other small home service companies. And I also get to serve as the CEO of the huge convention, one of the owners there. So that's a lot of fun. And just super excited to be here with you guys.
Awesome. We are so excited to have you. And I know we've been all geeking out ever since we saw you were going to be on the guest list. So be excited for all the questions coming your way. But I had the pleasure of meeting you last week at ResponsiCon. And my name is Taylor Maroney. For people who are new to the show listening, I co-own a pressure washing company in South Florida with my husband called Pure Power Washing. And I have a background in marketing. That's really where my love for marketing started, was in graphic design. And I realized there's a really big disconnect between business owners understanding the data coming from their marketing company and being able to analyze that and implement it with really good decisions moving forward for their marketing campaigns. So that's where my passion lies. And I'm super excited to have you on today, Jonathan, and talk all things marketing. Welcome to Fight Club.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Welcome. And my name is Megan Likes. I'm the founder of Bookkeeping Academy Online. I educate and empower small business owners to know their numbers so that they can live more financially rewarding lives. I also am the owner of Likes Accounting Company, a full service accounting firm based out of California. And I own Jeff Likes Clean Windows and Gutters with my husband, Jeff. And Jonathan is my new BFF because I think he just made me about 10 times more money from one drink at the ResponsiCon. So wow. I think my multiple just went up 10x. And based on what I saw yesterday, my average ticket might have gone up 10x. So Jonathan, crazy smart. I owe you a lot. Thank you very, very, very much. I'm excited to be here this week.
And hey, Jonathan, Michelle Myers, and we're going to talk all things systems in your businesses, plural. I'm also the co-founder and co-owner of Pink Collars, and we put remote admin staff in your business. We might actually talk about an event that you and I and all the people on screen are working about in the admin space, and I'm excited to talk about that. And welcome to Fight Club.
All right. And lastly, I'm Martha Woodward, and I formerly owned a maid service in a neighboring state, and now I'm just working in quality-driven software. I was co-founder of that, and I am all about helping people build happier workplaces, and that's absolutely going to be my role in the Rockstar admin. Is they have such a frontline attack in really helping the culture.
Oh, I'm so excited, guys. This is going to be such a fun show.
So true.
So many things to talk about. Well, I'm going to steal you first, Jonathan, and we are going to talk marketing. But before I ask my first question, what I'm going to briefly do is kind of remind everyone of the customer journey and what they go through to get to your company, because this is really important. And it's something that a lot of business owners may or may not have mapped out within their company. So when marketing is in place and you're funneling in leads, that's kind of your front line to bring them in. There's so many different avenues you can do that from. So I'm not going to go into a crazy amount of those. But what I want to talk about is when that phone or that email the phone rings, email comes through, you get that first client to give you a call, or, 18,000 client, however, whatever area in business you're at. And that's when that journey begins of really making sure we nurture that client to make sure that the marketing really does pay off. And those are very well connected, and something that we don't talk about too much in marketing, because if we disrupt this customer journey through our admin process or through the sales process in any way, shape, or form, there's potential for that client to then fall off at the end of everything and after they get the service and not become a raving fan. But you have raving fans. You have clients that love your business, and you have follow-up processes after that customer journey that allows for them to be nurtured and really loved. So that's kind of the area I want to talk about. We're not going to go into too much detail on the journey itself because that gets into the nitty-gritty. But once they've gone through your process of a customer journey, they've loved your company, they're happy from working with your admin and sales team, how do you really begin to nurture that new customer to become a customer for life?
Really, it's several fold. One of the biggest thing that we do right after we close the sale is we reach out to them with a post-service call and email. So we're really going to make sure that the experience was exactly what it was supposed to do. Our really brand promise is we deliver a legendary service experience, and it is one of those things that sets us apart. You're never going to be the best, if you're in soft washing every day, your employees aren't going to hit 100%. Things are going to happen, but if your promise is that you're going to give them an awesome experience and you deliver on that, then you've already won. So one of the things we do is that follow up. The next thing we do is we ask for a referral, and that is another way that we're staying top of mind. We've got an excellent referral program. And then after that, they're put on a regularly scheduled email that comes out once a month. So we do a once a month newsletter for both of my Red Door companies. And that really gives them something to look forward to. So in that newsletter, we're not trying to sell them anything. We're telling them what's happening around the city. We've got a charity that we work with. We've got reminders for their house because we are home service. So we tell them, hey, once a quarter, did you change your air filters? Once a year, have you replaced the batteries in your smoke detectors? These little things that are these pro tips for them so that they can look forward to that email going, oh, I got to look for these emails so I can remember to do these things. So we've got these checklists. And then we've also got one thing that's in there that is another service that we offer. So imagine if they call for soft washing, and you also do gutter cleaning, or you also do dryer vent cleaning, whatever other ancillary services you offer. If you just have that at the bottom and you just highlight one of those services, that could also trigger something that they need to do. So that's really how we nurture that. That's once a month. And then every 6 months, we've got another reminder that say, hey, we just wanted to say hi. We do emails on major holidays that are just Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. And then we have an annual service reminder that goes out. And we're really nurturing them for up to 36 months. And then if they buy again, then they just go back into that cycle. And it's really just staying top of mind with the customer and not seeming like you're just always trying to sell them something. You want to give them value. And if you give them value consistently, they're going to come back to you.
Absolutely. And I do want to brag on you for a little bit. But my first question is going to be, I know people are going to ask, when do you get that review from them? Because we know how beneficial reviews are for small businesses, and really being able to do review-based marketing and not really just review management now is very much a thing. So is that placed in the process after that, service check-in call, or is that a little bit further down the line?
Absolutely. It's right after the service check-in call. We use a company called Sotellus that emails it as part of our CRM. It's automatic. They've got their own follow-up, and awesome. They cultivate those reviews for us. We've got a widget on our websites that display the reviews, but we ask for it right after the call, and it goes out to everybody. We don't review gate, and we just make sure that the reviews are coming in, that the clients are happy. And we've had really good success with that company on leveling up our reviews.
Awesome. So I want to go back and kind of recircle, and then I'm going to brag on you for a second, because you didn't brag on yourself enough for that newsletter, which I absolutely think is mind blowing. So when Jonathan has a client who's been officially booked and job is completed, they actually give that follow-up phone call. So this is their opportunity to be able to speak with the client, to find out if something may have been missed, to find out what could have been wrong potentially, but it sounds like that's not necessarily the case. They get to just talk with a happy customer and talk with them about how great the service was, how wonderful their team is, and their customer service experience has been. So that's all leading into his brand promise, excuse me, in regards to having an excellent and, phenomenal customer journey experience. So he's completing that brand promise right there at that phone call as well. And then that brand promise continues because he didn't ask for the review right after the job. He made sure it was good, and then he asked for the review. So he knows that, if there are things that need to get fixed, great, we can do that. But we're still going to be able to ask for the review and make sure we either fix what's wrong or get that happy customer. So the newsletter is where I want to focus for a second, because this has some great gold in it, really great gold. And one of the pieces that really stuck out with me when you were speaking was in regards to how you do remind clients about other things in their home that they need to be able to be aware of. Because I will say, I'm a young homeowner. I'm probably the worst at changing my air filters, and my husband gets so mad at me over this. And that's something, like, if I had an email that was coming to me just from another service company I worked with saying, hey, Taylor, by the way, you forgot those air filters again, like, make sure we get those cleaned up, I would be so excited. But in addition, the dryer vent cleaning, if you connect that, like you were saying, to, this is something that can be a problem for fires during the winter time. Now you're positioning yourself not only as an expert in your business, but as an expert recommendation, kind of recommendator, is that a word? For other service businesses, that you can be able to say one of two things. If we offer this service, awesome. You can absolutely come with us and we would be happy to serve you. If you want to do it yourself, fantastic, awesome. Just make sure you do it. If you don't, here's the reasons why you need to do it and get it done. And we just want you to be safe. And that's what I heard from you when you were talking about that section, is it's not, it's not selling the service you offer. It's selling we care about you. We care about your safety. We care about you as a client with our company. And we just want to make sure you're safe. So that really does continue to build that exceptional customer experience and allow for them to even, trust you more, because you're not offering a service that you're not pushing them on a service, I should say, you offer. You're really just nurturing them and making sure they're happy and safe. So that alone is just such an amazing thing that you guys are doing. And now I know a lot of people are going to ask this question, so I just want to kind of put it out there. Do you change this email at all? Does this email kind of stay the same for the most part and just change the events and the, some of the new things going on in the area? Are there certain areas that are templated? Because sometimes people think, oh, I have to change all these emails every month. This is so frustrating. But does the client really realize that?
I don't know. We don't change it. It's really just different sections. We pick 3 events: a charity, one of our services, and we just use that to build it. So my marketing manager, she just plugs in, she goes on Google, finds the events, or if it's something that we're doing, maybe at the baseball stadium, we have several partners that we do different things with. And so we promote that. And those are the events. And then the charity is one that we pick every month. And the DIY is usually something that is relevant for the season. For example, January, the one we were talking about was the dry vent cleaning, because January is National Fire Prevention Month, and this is the month where we really promote those dry vent cleanings, because it's wintertime and this is when it's happening. So it's nice. Plus, with us as a soft wash company, where it gets cold, we need to fill our schedule from mid-January to mid-March. And this was a really good way for us to keep the guys working and also provide a service to our clients. So we're doing that then. But it could be a different DIY on planting a garden or doing something else that has absolutely nothing to do with our service, but it's something that's going to provide value to the client.
I absolutely love that. And it shows, because as a client of service businesses myself, and as a service business owner, providing that value is something that you can never do enough of. And the more you do it on that customer journey, the more you're going to have those raving fans. So I really appreciate you taking time with me this morning, Jonathan. And I know Megan is itching to talk about some amazing money that you've been able to increase her bottom line by. So I'm going to go ahead and hand you over to Megan and talk. So you guys talk finances.
I thought for sure you were going to get distracted by marketing manager. No? No
I
distraction.
didn't want to, because I want, honestly, people forget how much value is in a follow-up. And just by having that automated system that you just adjust every now and then, it's on autopilot, and you have one person working on it. That can be an admin, it can be a marketing manager. It'll be me when we start doing ours in our business, because we don't have all those things yet. But it's something that provides a lot of value that can be done very early on and not have to put a lot of brain work into it.
Raise your hand in the chat if you would pay for a template that Tay Maroney put together of a newsletter, right? I think that she should do this. It was pretty funny. Jonathan was on a panel at ResponsiCon. We were all together. Well, Michelle was not there. Doug was there. Michelle was there in spirit. We were all at ResponsiCon in Arizona last week. And Jonathan just casually mentioned this newsletter, and Tay and I pounced. We're like, tell us more about this thing. What is going on? So Jonathan, as the numbers nerd and the money person, do you have data on how much you book each month after you send out the newsletter? You said that, you send it out on the first of the month at 9 a.m. And do you ring in the sales the first, second, and third of the month after you send it?
Actually, we did see an uptick in sales right after we started sending it, and it wasn't immediate. The first time we sent it, we got one or two little responses, but it's that consistency that has paid off for us. So now we can expect that first week we're getting an influx of calls, whether it's about, one of the events. They call sometimes and they go, hey, tell me more about this, dog park event. And we're like, well, we really don't know a whole lot. We just, this is something that's going on, and here's how you can get there. And a couple of times we've got really good CSRs that know how to start conversations. And before they go, they say, hey, by the way, I'm showing here the last time we were out at your house was a year and a half ago. How's the house looking? Is there anything that you might need at this point? So they're able to just talk them through that while they're calling. So we did see a really good, we have seen a good uptick. We've been doing it for about 2 years now, and it has paid off. And I say paid off, it doesn't cost us anything. The marketing manager does it, but like you said, an admin can do it, especially if Tay comes up with a nice template. An admin can put that as part of their process, and it would literally take 5 minutes a month.
I love it. I
May
love
or
it.
may not be working on it right now.
May or may not be adding this to the Rockstar training admin takeaway. So let's talk about that for just a second. We are planning on putting together an admin training. And I think that this was your brainchild and Michelle's brainchild, in that home service business owners have so much access to awesome shows like the Huge Convention or ResponsiCon, but the admins themselves don't actually have access to education that's designed for them. Because I feel like in my company, and I know Michelle would agree, I know Martha would agree, Tay would probably agree too, that the admin is the keystone position in my company. Nothing works without a Rockstar admin. Nothing. They're my number one salesperson. They're the one that makes sure that my production's right, my labor rates are right. They're the ones that do most of my marketing. They're the first impression of my company. They are the face and the smile and the voice of my brand. And I feel like this admin training is so brilliant. And I'm along for the ride a little bit because Michelle and Jonathan put this together. Let's talk a little bit about that. The dates. Can one of you share the dates and where it's going to be?
Sure. I'll let Michelle, if you want to throw the dates in the chat.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk about it just for a second, because how it even came about. As a business owner, I started my company with just a pressure washer and me out of my garage. And so I learned really quickly how to do the thing and how to sell the thing. And then I grew. And I hired an admin, and it was hey, this is what I kind of do. I'm really not doing a great job at this. Please figure it out. And then they struggle. So as a home service business owner, finding somebody to be an admin is usually fairly easy. Training them is the hard part. They're probably going to know how to use Facebook, and they're going to know how to use Microsoft Word or Google Docs or whatever you use. But are they going to know how to prime the pump for a service business sale? Are they going to know how to not just use a system, but are they going to know how to create systems within the business? are they going to know how to do the things that you just aren't good at as a business owner? Because if as a business owner, if we were just fantastic at administration, we would own an administration company, and that would be our thing. But no, we own a
She's like above
software
me.
company
Yeah,
and a
this
plumbing
one.
company. I was going to say Michelle. So that would be our strong suit. But that's typically not our strong suit as a business owner. So we need to be able to send them somewhere so that they can get knowledge, learn how to develop systems, learn how to think for themselves, and then come back to us trained and ready to hit the ground running. And that just hasn't existed in the service business space. So
Well,
we
it does now, and I think you both are geniuses. And we got together yesterday and we talked about like what are the takeaways for an admin, and we're going to kind of stay in our lanes. It's one of the things I love about Fight Club is none of us are an expert in everything. Nobody's an expert in anything, and so when we play to our strengths, we can actually help build out this experience for an admin where they can be well-rounded and they can help. So I'm just going to plug Tay for just a second because I know we've already gone through marketing, but Tay's going to be giving your admin a social media calendar with templates from Canva for an entire year so that they can schedule out their posts. They can schedule out that customer experience and that journey for an entire year. Maybe she'll throw in this newsletter template if we're lucky. But what I love is there's going to be like training about why is this relevant to your position? Why is this relevant to your company? How is this going to benefit you and your team? And then there's doing where you're actually going to build it out and customize it at the training so that when you go home, it's plug and play and ready to go. So from a money perspective, we were like, I usually talk to owners. Like it's kind of weird to talk to an admin, right? Like I'm used to talking to owners about top line and bottom line and controlling their expenses and building out their tickets. And so the ladies really challenged me to think about that from an admin perspective. And I think we got it because I know my admin is my number one salesperson, right? My admin is the person that is building that ticket, is building that customer experience, is getting the recurring jobs on the calendar. And so we thought from a finance perspective, a really cool takeaway for an admin related to money is a scoreboard. Like, how do they know if they're doing a good job, right? How do they know if they're booking more jobs? How do they know if they're hitting their sales targets? How do they know if they're like doing a good job with the follow-up? And this is coming up with us. We just hired a new admin not like 2 months ago. And Jeff's still learning how to trust her. He's still learning like, well, I wonder, she works remotely. Like, I wonder what she does. Like, what did she do yesterday? You know, kind of giving an admin a tool to be able to communicate with their owner to be like, look at this awesome thing I did today. Like, look at all this hard work that happened today. So Jonathan, I'm curious if your CSRs have a scoreboard and what's on it.
So our CSRs are primarily a sales function, so they do have their scoreboard, and really it's how many inbound calls did you take, how many outbound calls did you make, because it's easy to take inbound calls, it's hard to make outbound calls. How much did you sell this week versus your goal? So if they're a newer CSR, they're going to have a different goal than Matt that's been with us for 4 years. So they're going to track that, and they're also tracking how many referrals they got. And one of the things that we do in our company is that we ask for the referrals while they're on the phone. We prime them and let them know it's going to happen. The technicians ask for them. They ask for them. Everybody's asking for referrals because that is free money. All you're doing is asking. And it just comes to you. Part of our referral program is we do give them a 10% certificate, but really, if you look at it, my marketing spend is anywhere between 11 and 15%. We've got 3 locations, so the one that's up north, we've got more just because we're in growth mode. But it's really free money, especially if you just ask for a referral. If you don't have any kind of incentive, especially if you give them the, hey, we're a small family company, how we grow is referrals, and you just ask, a lot of times they're just going to give them to you. So it's phenomenal that we can track that as a KPI on the dashboard so that they can see it. And if it's visual, then it's in front of them and they know, oh, I've got a goose egg on the board. I need to do something about that. and you only grow in the areas you track. So that's what we have on our dashboard.
I love it. Well, we're putting together a pretty epic dashboard for admins, and it's going to be a daily dashboard, a weekly dashboard, and a monthly dashboard, because I think that as home service business owners, we look at things a little bit differently, and our admins really are on the front lines. They're the ones that are keeping that pulse in the company. So giving them a tool to be able to report back to us. Just to give a quick overview, Jonathan just talked about the sales part of the dashboard, but there should also be a quality part, like tracking those quality metrics, tracking that quality score and the response rate and the failed scores and the callbacks. There's also an HR component. So tracking how many applicants are in our recruiting funnel, right? How many interviews are on the calendar? What are the absences? So having this all put in one place, I know I had to figure out a way to build in Kay's going to give you a beautiful Trello board with visuals, and I'm going to give you a spreadsheet, but this spreadsheet is going to make you so much money, because it's an opportunity for your admin to set themselves up for success and for them to communicate the success of their position with you as the owner. I'm so excited to be building this out. And I'm grateful. Is there anything else that you would like to see on this scoreboard, Jonathan? This is Jonathan's first time hearing about it. He's trusted us implicitly.
I think it's great because administratively, we just don't see a lot of scoreboards. We have a technician scoreboard. We got our sales and CSR scoreboard. We don't have an admin scoreboard. So if I need to know how many applicants are in the pipeline, I need to go there. If I need to find out how many PTO days and times people are calling out sick, I've got to go somewhere else. And that PTO is an indicator of employee engagement. And if people start calling out sick, then you need to be aware of it. And a lot of times, with all the employees that we have, I can't think, oh, is Bob here or whatever. So you need to start tracking that. And even if you only have 2 employees, you might think, oh, that guy always calls out sick, and he can only call out sick every once in a while. So if you have no way to measure that, then you're left guessing.
Well, and we're going to hopefully integrate some cool technology. We asked Jonathan for an extra 30 minutes to talk about our favorite tech hacks. For me, that is quality-driven software. That's how I keep track of the absences and the tardies. And they're only allowed a certain number. And are they in the red zone? Do I need to be replacing them? Are they in the yellow zone? Are they in the green zone? But I'm excited to throw this on a KPI dashboard so that your admin has a place to report to you, and you as an owner have a place to go look. And Michelle is the queen of having people give you information, right? Instead of you chasing information, she has them just tee it right up. So I think that's the perfect pass to Michelle. And then we're going to talk more about people and employee engagement with Martha. But I am so excited about this dashboard and the admin training. I think we're going to really set our admins up for success. And as owners, we're going to feel that in our sales, and we're going to feel that in our customer engagement too. So yay.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Megan. Okay, Jonathan, you have like a million businesses. Can you go over just really quickly, because a lot of people want to do investments, right? Or they want to participate in other opportunities. Tell me how you, in a systems mindset, right? Looking through the glass of systems, how do you look at a business for possible grabbing or being a participant in or being an investor in? What do you look for in terms of systems or things that are in place when you're kind of identifying a business for being a part of?
Sure. The first thing that I'm going to look at is if the owner, and it would be morbid to say gets hit by a bus, but say if the owner were to win a lottery and go on a private island and never be seen from again, is the business going to be successful without that key person? So do they have systems in place? Do they have enough employees in place? What do their customers look like? Is there a good range of customers, or is it a company where they have a customer that has 20, 30, 40% of their business? So do they have a key customer? And what does that look like from an acquisition standpoint? Are they going to stay with the company you're acquiring? Profitability. I want to look at profitability, and does it make sense in the industry? That's also a key component, because I've looked at a lot of, unfortunately, $4, $5, $6 million companies
Mhm.
that have a 1%, 2% profit margin, 3% profit
Wow.
margin,
Wow.
and they're just kind of getting by on the skin of their teeth. If they have that, then the question is why? Why are they not profitable? Do they have too much real estate? So do they have a 75,000 square foot warehouse and they could do it in a 10,000 square foot warehouse?
Mhm.
Are they paying the CEO too much money? Do they have too many employees? What's driving that profit margin? So that's another indicator we look for.
I mean, I just love the fact that you have your hands in a lot of different things. And for me, when you're in a community of a lot of different services, it means that you have a different perspective. That's kind of where I was going, right? So when you thought about doing an admin training and you saw it through the eyes of multiple different service businesses, what was the major pain point you kind of identified other than training? What was the other thing? Is it kind of churn or people coming in and out of the position? What else are you seeing out there in the industry that we can help solve?
Churn is an issue, and the problem is you hire an admin and you get them trained, and then 6, 9, 12 months later they go on maternity leave, they get sick, they find a better opportunity, their husband gets a job somewhere else, and so you do see that churn. And how I think the best way to solve it is to train the admins to duplicate their job or replicate their job. And that's using
Exactly.
systems to create
Mhm.
videos. And then we've talked at BBB about a lot of these
Sure.
things where you create the video and you drop this thing in Scribe.io, and then you create these tags
Yeah.
and these timestamps. And you guys are masters at that. And I was just sitting there, I was taking notes. I was like, this is wonderful. But that's the biggest thing, is to make sure that the admin can duplicate themselves. So if they do that, or what if you have an opportunity within your company where that admin can go? So maybe they're going from
Yeah.
admin and they're a rock star at sales. And you're like, oh, we've got to get this person in the sales department.
Yeah.
And now you're
What are we
without
doing?
now you're without an
I
admin,
was thinking
and
about that.
it's terrible. So I think that's the biggest issue there, is that churn and being able to replicate it. Because if you're going to invest the money in like an admin boot camp,
Yeah.
you want that to be that one-time investment. You don't have to think, man, I need that every 6 months because I got to replace an admin.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I will talk to you about some of the things that we're going to give, some of the takeaways and systems, because that replicating yourself is what we call it here at Pink Collars. We're all working our way out of a job, right? We're always looking for the next position in the company or the next up leveling that we can do. So for systems, we're going to give our admins in this training boot camp a digital dashboard of their entire company so that it can collaboratively be worked on with the owner, with the ops manager, whoever else is in the business. And then if they do move on into the next chapter in their career, either at that company or at another one, you have all of that empirical wisdom is saved, right? So it's all there for somebody else to kind of sit down in the driver's seat and be able to at least get the plane off the ground, right? So we're going to absolutely give that away and give people the ability to focus on listening to the customer and what their needs are, and be able to have all of that information just super easy in front of them while they're on the call or on the email. So that's one of the big things we're giving away in systems, which I'm super excited about. And if you listened to my poor husband, if you talk to him at all, you would know that I'm a calendar creator. I live and die by my calendar. In fact, my children even know that if it's not on the calendar, it's not real. It's pretty bad that a 10 and 11, 13-year-old know this about me. So we're also going to talk about how can you work calendar and how can a calendar be your friend? So those two things are some of the systems takeaways that we're going to give. And I am super excited and grateful for this opportunity to be aligned, with you, Jonathan, and everybody at The Huge. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you. I'm going to pass you on to Martha, who's going to talk about how these awesome people make all the difference in all of our businesses, for sure. Thanks so much.
First, I'm going to say two things. One, I'd been muted the whole time and unmuted, and then didn't realize I was telling my husband goodbye.
Oopsie.
Okay. Two, Michelle, I'm surprised that you don't have your kids put it on the Trello board and or communicate by Slack.
They might be doing that eventually, although it's really funny. The high school that my daughter is going to is entirely in Slack. The entire high school is in Slack, and that's how you communicate with your teacher. So I'm so excited. She gets to go to school this year, and I get to like be in a high school Slack. So watch out, high school.
Goodness.
I'm coming.
And have you whipped them into shape on how they should do their channels and all that?
I have not yet, but I'm sure that I will be asked to.
Yeah.
Probably not.
They're not prepared.
There's a
Not
little
ready.
story here. Michelle will not tell any Fight Clubber any answers. She will just reference the Trello board. And if we do not communicate in Slack, she will reply that we are in the wrong channel and to try again. This is how Michelle manages us. It's terrible.
She tries all the time. Oh boy.
I try.
Actually, funny story. Martha actually did what you did normally do to me last week, Michelle. She was like, well, if Michelle was here to Taylor, she would tell you to check the Trello board. And I was like, shoot.
Oopsie.
Right. I didn't check the Trello board. I'm in trouble.
That's right.
Important that we note that Trello will be the basic framework that this entire training is going to be built on. And Trello is a free collaborative system of lists and cards and all kinds of cool stuff and videos. And so please know that that's going to be one of the biggest takeaways of this whole thing, is that everything we talk about is going to be on Trello, which is going to be super cool.
Yeah. There's so many integrations with that.
So
I know.
And you
Tons.
use that to do, you could do all kinds of craziness with it. It's
It's
free.
great.
It's free.
It's free. Exactly. We love free.
That's funny. Okay. Well, my stuff will definitely be built out on Trello. The two topics I am covering is going over the importance of the role that the admin plays in employee engagement. I mean, I can't say it enough, but the admin really is your culture person. It's not, the owner plays a role, but it really is your day-to-day person that makes or breaks your culture. And studies show, I mean, a direct supervisor is the number one reason that people stay or leave, you know? So anyway, we're going to be going over like all the components of nurturing or engaging an employee. And it was pretty cool, Jonathan, with your newsletter. It made me think. So when I was really working my maid service, I had a monthly newsletter. I did all the things, but I also had an employee newsletter. And so Tay is going to work on the like client lead type newsletter. I will provide an employee newsletter. Now, it just depends on how big your company is. It may be the owner that is sending out that newsletter to the employees, but it might, you know, if your company is large enough, then it would absolutely be a template that your top admin could fill in, because it's the same kind of principles. There are a lot of informative and nurturing things. I mean, you can almost copy the template from what you send to clients and leads into employees, because there's definitely like a social, what's going on in the community. There is employee brag section. It's kind of like an extra staff meeting. I always did monthly staff meetings, but I also, it was a way to bridge the gap mid-month with some type of communication. So anyway, I'm excited about that. I'm glad you guys reminded me of that. And when I turned my camera off, I went to get this book, Never Lose the Customer Again. And so when you guys were talking about the life cycle of an employee, I mean, of a client, I absolutely was thinking, okay, that, you know, I use that book for that. But when we did our retreat with the admin staff and we went through every phase in that book and looked at our customer's journey, we also spent half the time using that book and then doing the journey for an employee. So you can absolutely take all those principles and then put it in place for your employee's journey. So anyway, we've already asked Jonathan for more time, and I'm sitting here thinking, how am I gonna get everything I want to say into this little bit of time? But that just means it's going to be the best of the best. We're going to get the most impactful things, which saving great employees would be super impactful. And then learning how to create a culture that attracts employees is going to be, those are my two things. And I'm going to have that all built out. And those are my two takeaways that I have to deliver in this session.
It's great. And you raise a really good point about your admin being your purveyor of culture. Our admin keeps track of birthdays, keeps track of wedding anniversaries, keeps track of Bob's kid that, had their first t-ball game, whatever it is. They're the one that's going to keep, and they're going to push you information to go, hey, you should probably go talk to Bob. I think there's, something going on with his car or whatever. And they, like you said, they're the lifeblood. And if you could have things like the birthdays pop up and they're putting together the birthday cards, they're putting together the things. One of the things we do in our company is called Friday Treats. And she goes out and she picks us up, whether that is ice pops during the summer or ice cream bars or, little bottles of special drinks to take home on a Friday afternoon. The admin is the one that comes up with that and really delivers it. So extremely critical for employee culture.
I love that. Friday Treats.
Yep.
So that's good. Yeah. Yes. And in that Nurture Trello board that I'll be providing, it does have a lot of that as far as keeping up with those special dates. But then it's the week to week brags, and that will be part of the assignment is that you meet a minimum, recognition in front of their peers is big stuff. And they associate kind of a building of self-esteem with your company. And so we're going to talk about all that. And I'm excited.
And Martha's really good about helping the admin keep the owner organized. So the owner has to be doing reviews, and the owner needs to be doing interviews, and the owner needs to be doing staff meetings. And so Martha included in her takeaways that the admin, she's going to give templates so the admin can keep the owner organized, which I think is gold. If that admin is making sure your safety meetings happen and your staff meetings happen and you're, what's happening in your funnel and you're doing your reviews and employee engagement. I know for Jeff, that's invaluable to have somebody more organized, keeping him on track. So I'm so excited, Martha.
Yeah. Yep. And listen, I want my admin to do as much as my admin can do, but there's certain pieces that the admin depends on me. And I am absolutely like the, squirrel person. And so I tell them, listen, part of your job, and in fact, I will be upset with you, is if you don't keep on me for whatever pieces. You cannot use me not getting whatever to you as an excuse if you haven't done your part. And that's kind of to wrangle me. Sad to say, but I will tell you this, just like if I know Michelle is going to say, well, is it on the Trello board? When people do that to me, like, no, it's not a bad thing.
Sorry.
I need to be wrangled. Like when my admin will, like, I like to beat people to it. And so when my admin sets up that kind of a culture on, well, I'm waiting on this from you or waiting on this, I don't like to be like, I don't like to be in trouble. So it does get me in a routine where I I will beat them and get them. I mean, heck, I have a VA in the Philippines that keeps me in line, and
Well, and it's that accountability, right? We
Yep.
we joke about Michelle, but Michelle literally holds all of Fight Club accountable, and she brings that accountability piece. It's a good thing. All business owners are squirrels, like we all are, and
All of us, yeah.
we all know it. It's a very well-known thing, but having that accountability off your plate and on someone else, and they have that control of that accountability, really helps us as business owners to be able to say, okay, I have to get this done. That accountability is coming. I know Susie's going to ask me for this. Let's make sure it's done. So I, like Martha said, I don't disappoint. That's the last thing we would ever want to do. To our place.
It's still a system, even if your part of your system is assigning someone to keep you in order. So anyway,
one of our new systems with our new admin is giving her a budget for customer gifts, client gifts, and employee gifts. And Paisley just commented that she does this too. And she said, we did a gift for one of our installers who had a baby this past year, and it made our employees feel so appreciated. And I had never thought about how brilliant that is, Paisley, but that your admin, who's their coworker, who's hearing the things that Jonathan's describing, can be the one that like makes it happen, right? And empowering them to be like, hey, I want you to spend this budget every week. You have it. I don't care how you spend it. Like, go be awesome. That's really changed our culture a little bit with our admin in this last hiring round, which is cool. So Peyton, thanks for sharing. And I know Martha is she loves that.
I do. And what you're doing with that, Megan, is giving feels good. So not only are you empowering them to, be able to take control, but you're also giving them an opportunity to be gifting within a budget. But that feels good. I mean, that's a great part of the job, and that's rewarding for her as well. So that's great.
Yeah. Wow. So good. I can't wait. So when is the admin training again? Is it tomorrow? Next week?
It's not tomorrow. It's March 10th and 11th. And I put it in the notes in the comments here in Facebook and in YouTube. March 10th and 11th.
For you to say you put it in the Trello board, Michelle.
Well, of course it's in the Trello board. No, it's March 10th and 11th in Nashville. And we're going to go big or go home in Nashville. We're trying to come up. We talked last night, Jonathan, with some sort of fun swag for our attendees, because we're going to create a tribe there. I don't know if anybody knows this, but you're going to send your admin there and they're going to come back changed. So don't be ready for the same person to walk back in the door when they come back. Send somebody that needs that leadership, that help, that assistance, and really invest in that person in your company. It's so beneficial. You get everywhere in your life and in your business when you help other people get what they want. That's just the secret sauce. So just give them what they want. And this is really going to help people so much. I am thrilled. I can't sleep at night. I'm so excited. So
and they're going to make friends, right? So your admin's going to go and make friends with other admins, so that they're not going to be asking you. They're going to be asking people smarter than you, like, how do you do this? And they're going to be collaborating and networking, and we're really going to be empowering them to do the thing that they're really good at. It's so exciting.
We've got everything. Yeah, we've got everything lined out right on the website. It's the rockstaradmin.com. And what I really enjoy about this is, as a business owner, a lot of times we go to a convention and we get all this stuff and we're filled with dopamine, and then we come back and we took great notes and everything was awesome, but then we don't execute. This is, we're executing while we are there. They're going to walk away with so many systems, so many processes. And one of the other things I thought was great that we're going to be doing is, obviously we're going to be working with Slack a lot. We're going to have a whole Slack workspace that is just admin bootcamp people. And so they're going to have their channels. They're going to be able to talk to each other. And they're going to feed off of each other and ask and answer those questions. Like you were saying, they're going to ask people that are way smarter than I am about admin stuff. Because a lot of times I've had my admin come to me and she's like, hey, help me with and I'm like, I'm sorry, I have no idea. I'm gonna have to Google that. I just don't know. I don't have the experience in the admin field.
So good. So good.
Oh, excited. Well, I guess, are we ready for some homework and some accountability?
I think we are.
All right, awesome. So, Jonathan, at this point in the show, we go ahead and assign our listeners some accountability and homework just to make sure they're implementing what we discussed today on the show. So as far as homework goes for my listeners and our listeners, I should say, please pick one of these 5 pieces of homework we're about to throw at you. We want this to be something you are very in need of in your business, something that spoke to you today and that you can get accomplished before next Tuesday's Fight Club and be proud of and be happy that you completed that accountability. We do have an accountability group in our private group on Facebook that you can absolutely join and be able to have these exact conversations we're talking about. You know, speak with people that are smarter than you, speak with people that have done the thing and have the system in place. So that way it makes your process a little bit easier. So as far as marketing homework goes, what I want you to do is just first take a look at, do you have follow-up? Do you even call your client after a job's completed? Do you have an automated review process set up once the job's completed? What does that journey look like once the job is done? Because that really does play into a major effect of how your marketing works as well. Because now that starts to increase your referrals from clients. It starts to increase your overall rock stars that are super excited and raving fans about your company. And without that, we know as business owners, it can be difficult just to rely on Google Ads, SEO, any type of normal marketing source coming through. We need raving fans. We need people that love our business and love our company for our company brand and what we offer. So that's what I want you to look at. Just map it out. It doesn't have to be too far. If you don't have one, it's going to be a pretty short list. If you do have one, it's going to be 36 months, like Jonathan was talking about, which I would love to hear. And if you have any questions in regards to that, again, please tag me in the accountability group and I'd be happy to help you with that process.
Awesome. And so we're going to give you a lot of homework. And as Tay said, we just want you to choose one. You're going to choose one and move the needle forward. Don't get distracted by all of the options. You just need to choose the one that speaks to you the most. For your finance homework, I want you to think about the role of this admin position and what it does to your company's revenue. And so I'd like you to start thinking about what would be on a dashboard for you if you had a dashboard for your admin. What's important to you for them to be paying attention to every single day? So for me in my company, average job size is a really important metric. And I feel like my admin is the key person that can help build a higher average ticket because they're the one having that conversation with the customer. Mrs. Jones, how do your gutters look? Mrs. Jones, it seems like it's been about a year since we were out to clean your windows. Mrs. Jones, I have a note here that you get a lot of moss on your driveway and you haven't had us clean it in a while. Did you want to add that to this appointment that you're scheduling? So kind of curating that experience to build the average ticket and then letting your admin see the impact of those questions, how that average job size goes up. The other thing is we did not mention this at all, but we're actually going to have a sales expert joining us for the admin training. And that sales expert, Tonya Burke, is going to be talking about sales scripts, how your admin can actually close more jobs. Like pay attention to their conversion rate, pay attention to how many of the leads that come in actually convert into dollars on your calendar. So I want you to be thinking about what are some key things that you can be measuring and tracking with your admin. And you can change that starting this week by having a conversation with your admin about how important they are in your schedule. I feel like an angel there. Sorry.
You are.
Sweet
Megan.
So that is your finance homework for this week, is figure out some key metrics that you can actually be tracking and documenting with your admin. And with is important. I think you should talk about it with them, not tell them that this is what they need to be reporting back.
And as business owners, we're always thinking about the bus factor of one. I love that you brought that up, Jonathan, or the lottery ticket of one, right? What is that replaceable value of an individual in your team? So if you're looking at your admin and you're absolutely looking at them and going, if they left tomorrow, if they left next week, if something happened to them, they won the lottery or they had the bus, what would I do? If you're in that position in your business, please look into this Rockstar training, because getting these things digitized really is not only an investment in the person you're sending, but it's a massive investment in the safety and comfort of your business as the owner. You're going to know that all of these things are in a digital format, so that no matter what happens in your company, you can have that person back in the seat, possibly replaced or even elevated in your company. So I'm going to have you look into the Rockstar training. We're going to put the link in the notes, and that's your homework, is to think about that bus factor of 1 for your admin this week.
All right. And your people homework is going to be creating an employee newsletter. So I honestly had totally forgotten that I used to do that until you all were talking about it. But, it's not complicated. Just like Jonathan was saying, once you create that template, you use it over and over. It's just plug and play. So create that and decide what you want to put in there. It should, I had a little section on continued training. So it was just, you have to stay away from making it negative and being a nagging newsletter. Don't do that, or you absolutely defeat the purpose. But there's nothing wrong with having just a little continued training, or, tips and tricks kind of thing. Employee brag. You can put recipes, you can put all kinds of, if it's holidays, make it informative for them and useful for them. And then you've got it. So that's my homework. And then Jonathan, if you want to give any homework, you can, or you can say, nah, that's enough.
So I think the biggest thing as a business owner is, have you defined your why? Why are you in business? Why do you even exist? A lot of us start businesses out of necessity, financial necessity. But if you can't communicate your why, you need to take a moment. And there are probably 10 or 15 books out there that I can't even think of that you should read on coming up with your why, and then personifying that through your business. Because if you have a story, then you invite your customer into that story. They are going to walk along with you. We had the privilege of hearing from Debbie Sardone, and she really talked about branding and being different. And for her, it was, helping cancer patients by cleaning their home for free. That's her why. And then she takes that and has built her business. And I think if you don't have your why defined, you're just walking lost through the desert. So I know. So my homework is find a book. Probably Simon Sinek, Start With Why, is probably the one that comes to the top of my head. And find it, read it, and define it.
Awesome.
And if you don't want to read it, I posted the TED Talk. It's like 17 minutes. It'll change your life. Yeah, it's perfect.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
All right.
So Jonathan, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how can they find you, reach out to you, speak with you directly if they have questions?
They could probably email me, probably the best way. Just Jonathan@thehugeconvention.com is a great way to get in touch with me. I am on Voxer and other things, but that's probably the easiest way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Awesome. And we always end with a quote, Jonathan. So I found this one while we were chatting, and I think it's pretty good. And it says, if you work for and eventually lead a company, understand that companies have multiple stakeholders, including their employees, their customers, their business partners, and the communities within which they operate. I don't know about me or the rest of these ladies here, but I can say for me, I'm super grateful that we're part of this community together. And thank you so much for spending an hour with us today. You're going to see a lot more of us between now and March 10th. I have a feeling. And thank you so much for this opportunity to help train admins. We're all really thrilled about it and can't wait to get together with you soon. So thanks, everybody, for another version of Fight Club. We loved having you today, and everybody have a super week out there.
And
go fight.
next week we're going to be live
next
from
week?
IWCA, right?
We
We
are.
are.
We're going to be in Florida. Yeah.
And can we announce our guest?
We can. It's none other than the famous Jeff Likes.
Oh,
I'm
hey.
so excited. Jeff will
We're
be
in-
our Fight Club guest next week, live from Orlando at the IWCA PWNA conference.
Yep.
So we
Yeah,
will not
so
be
check
in our
us out.
typical format next Tuesday.
Yeah, it'll be great. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.